Kelly with Away We Go 2.0. Hope you're having a great Saturday so far. The royal wedding hoopla is over with, and so got a couple of things I wanted to just go over real quick that I've done this week. There have been some questions about security of your propane tanks, security of your the back storage compartment and things like that, and a little bit of awning maintenance. So I wanted to cover that stuff real quick here, and I'm not going to do any editing as proven just by that right there, because I just want to go ahead and get this out. It's just a quick video for a Saturday morning. By the way, this rain that we're having here that was predicted today, this 80% chance of rain, it's killing me. I tell you, killing me. One thing that I did real quick, now I have an advantage. We've got a Cricut machine that makes vinyls and stuff like that. And one thing that I did on our tires, we've got the Goodyear endurance tires on our AIRSTREAM Globetrotter. And we had this made, or I made it actually, on the Cricut machine, but it's vinyl that we made like our Facebook stuff on. But I've got this right here, tire pressure 80 PSI, in case we are on the roadside and I forget, or it's nighttime and I can't read, or whatever. Guy at the oil change place, we usually stop by and get it checked real quick before we go. And that way I don't have to tell him or her, oh, I don't know, whatever's on the tire, and then trust their ability to read and see. So tire pressure 80 PSI, and that goes for both tires, placed center on this side and on the other side. The other thing was a bit of security that I wanted to show you. Something I'd seen in previous videos but had not acted on until the other day, and it was so surprisingly easy. You just got to do it. All right, one issue that a lot of people have are propane tanks being stolen, and not necessarily for the propane. That's really, it's the metal part, the steel or whatever that they're made out of. And so people worry about them being stolen. Along with an AIRSTREAM, you've got the aluminum casing here that can be stolen as well. So this trick I've seen before in versions, different varieties, whatever, but this trick here, you drill, I think it was a 5/8 drill I used. Well, I said I wasn't going to do any editing, but I think I touched the button. Anyway, back on track. So these tanks are stolen for the metal, and I think it's a 5/8 inch drill bit that I used to drill through the wing nut here, this configuration that holds the bracket in place, and then it goes through the little bar that holds the tank in place, and as a result it will hold the big tanks in place, the cover, by the way, hold the tanks in place. So I believe it's a 5/8, but it'll depend on the lock you're going to use. If you use a smaller lock, or if you try to figure some way of getting a cable lock in here, which people have done as well, you may have to drill a bigger hole or a couple of holes, remove the cover, whatever you want to do. But I think this, I don't think you can get much simpler than this. You just take the 5-inch drill and start drilling at an angle so that you're kind of perpendicular to this, and then just kind of straighten it up once you get a hole, and then you go down. And that'll get a straight line from your wing nut thing here down through your bracket. You just go straight through. You get a lock with a little bit larger hasp. And this is maybe a $10 lock. It's not going to probably stop them, but it'll slow them down, maybe get some attention drawn to them. You put it through it, and boom, you've got your wing nut locked. You've got your bracket locked here that holds your cover in place. And by doing that, you ultimately have your crossbar here locked into place, which locks your tanks into place, which means they're not going anywhere. Another thing I've been looking at too, by the way, Globetrotter comes with 30-gallon tanks, and I've been considering, once we go full-time, getting 40-gallon tanks, but they're about 6 inches taller. And one thing I'm thinking about doing is, I've got a cousin that does metal fabrication work and things like that. I think, AIRSTREAM's answer is you've got to get a different cover, and that may ultimately be true, but I'm wondering, and I haven't measured it yet, if I can cut this across here, make this a little different here, and then have the tanks come up this extra thing right here. It'll be snug, but possibly doable. If not, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Okay, the other thing is what I did to secure the rear compartment where I keep my 50 amp power cable. Is one of these locks here that has the twistable thing on it. Again, it's not gonna stop somebody, but hopefully somebody banging around back here will draw some attention, whatever, but at least it's not just a grab and go. You get these for about $9, I think, at Home Depot or Lowe's. Keys goes in it. This will twist, it comes off. You do have to cut out, you can probably see it here, you do have to cut out a little more than half an inch. That's very hot. A little more than a half an inch to get it to fit into there. And I had to kind of supplement the back side because it's at an angle. But anyway, I've got a video on it. I'll produce one of these days. But it slows people down, and it's not just open for somebody to come and grab, especially if you're like me and you keep your electrical hoses back here, anything of real value. If it's all sewer stuff, no big deal. But this has been the best place for us to store our electrical cords so far. Okay, again, awning cleanliness. So I'm turn the awning here, let it cycle through and open the awning. By the way, you know, if you don't know, you'll learn when you're doing your awning, your door needs to be, at least on the Globetrotter configuration, your door needs to be closed or open, because that bar up there does not like your door, or maybe your door doesn't like that bar. But if you get about halfway out and you try to open your door, you're going to hear some pretty rough scratching. You might hear your husband or wife or partner screaming and yelling and jumping up and down because you're just getting all into this bar with your door. So you let this come on out. The question was, you know, I posted earlier, hey, if it's raining, you need to open your awnings up. Once the rain is gone, open them up, let them dry out. And even if you're driving around in rain, okay, so I'm about done with the video thing today. My phone's just acting up. I record my iPhone and it usually does good, but today it's freaking out. Had to reset it and so forth. So anyway, so even if you're driving along and you drive through rain, you're still gonna get rain in and around your awnings is my point, especially on the roadside over there. It seems to attract water in between the thing there, whatever. All right, so someone asked about leaves. They get debris on their tarp when they're out camping. And we have our AIRSTREAM parked under a river birch tree, and it dropped some leaves, but not too bad. But if you're out somewhere and it's, of course, most RVers want shade. And so with shade usually equals sticks, debris, acorns, pine cones, and whatever, pecans if you're so inclined. But so how do you get that stuff off? Some things, you know, if you're trying to go, you got to go somewhere, you can go ahead and roll it up and you can clean it off when you get to your new destination. If it's crazy raining or whatever, or you just don't have time to clean everything off. Definitely when you get home though, you want to make sure you clean things off. So now that we're clearing our bar there, one thing you can do is on the Zip D Relax awning, you've got a tilt rear and a tilt front. And the purpose of this is for rain. You know, you don't want rain collecting in the center of your awning, so you can tilt it forward or tilt it rearward, and it'll have the rainwater flow off your tarp rather than collecting in the middle, sagging and tearing. So what you can do to clean your tarp or your awning is you can push tilt front or rear. That's the button you push first. By the way, put a little WD-40 in here. Make things a little bit smoother. Not a lot, just a little. Okay, you're gonna let it open until it just starts to come out. Stick it all the way down, and then it will begin to kind of raise itself. That's where you want to stop it. Right there. So it was going down and it just started to kick itself out. That's where you want to stop it. And what happens is you've got this low point now, where for me, I'm 5'10" or so, and it's right at forehead level. But what you've got is a clear view of the top of the awning. And you can see what's up there. You can get a little hand blower if you've got that. Or if you want, what I often do is something that's a little persistent, just come in and kind of tap it with your hand. You can usually get in there. It'll knock it down to where you can manage it a little better gently manage it with a brush, or gently manage it with a broom. If you've got an older canopy, you don't really want to do that because it's probably getting close to dry rotting. Honestly, if you don't get it doing this, you know, if there's a stick or something up there, then you might need to be a little more aggressive with it. But if you can't get it just kind of popping it out like this with the back of your hand, then don't mess with it. until you can get a ladder, get home or something. All right, and so what can happen though is debris will catch in the roll here where the bar is, and that's fine. Again, usually you can just come on down and wipe anything out with your hands with that, and then you're good to go. And then you roll your awning up as you plan. Keep in mind though, it's still gonna be wet. So when you get home, all 3 awnings, if you've got that, depending on what kind of unit you've got, but particularly the Globetrotters, the front, the back, and the roadside need to be opened back up. Get some sun on them, leave them open most of the day, and you should be fine. All right, well that's it. So much for the no editing part. Camera was acting like a jerk. So there's gonna be about 4 edits in here, so I apologize in advance for that. But you guys take care, be good, stay out of trouble, and we'll catch you down the road.